The silver hull of the Dalari exploration vessel Celestial Observer gleamed against the black void of space. Captain Tejo stood on the bridge, his four-fingered hands clasped behind his back as he studied the main viewscreen. His large, almond-shaped eyes narrowed at the sight before him. "Magnify Sector 7, he ordered, his voice calm but tinged with curiosity. The screen zoomed in on what appeared to be debris at first glance, but as the image cleared, Tejo leaned forward. It was unmistakably a ship. A human ship. "Scans complete, Captain," announced his science officer, Bin. "The vessel matches known human military configurations. Designation appears to be HSS Phantom. No power signatures detected. No life signs." Tejo's facial ridges lifted slightly, the Dalari equivalent of raised eyebrows. A derelict human warship? This far from their territories? The Dalari had encountered humans only twice in their collective memory. Both meetings had been brief, formal exchanges of basic cultural information. Humans were known to be territorial but reasonable. This ship, however, was well beyond any charted human space. "It appears damaged," observed Bin. "Possibly abandoned after some kind of conflict." Tejo tapped his long fingers against the command console. "Or it could contain valuable technology. The humans are secretive about their military capabilities." His first officer, Nari, stepped closer. "Captain, regulations suggest we report this finding to Central Command first. And by the time we receive instructions, someone else might claim this prize," Tejo replied. He had not reached his position by strict adherence to bureaucratic caution. "Prepare a boarding party. Full environmental suits and standard scientific equipment." An hour later, Tejo led a team of 6 across the void between the ships. The Phantom grew larger in his visor, a dark, angular shape against the backdrop of a distant nebula. As they approached, Tejo noted unusual modifications to the hull, strange protrusions and sensor arrays not matching standard human designs. "Atmosphere detected inside," reported Min, the team's engineer. "Composition is breathable. Temperature at minimal life support levels." They entered through an airlock that responded to their universal override codes with surprising ease. The interior was dimly lit by emergency lighting, casting long shadows across abandoned corridors. "Power systems at 5% capacity," Min said, scanning with her handheld device. "Looks like it's been running on auxiliary power for some time." The team moved deeper into the ship, passing empty crew quarters and darkened command stations. Everything was in order, no signs of battle damage or hasty evacuation. It was as if the crew had simply disappeared. "This design is unusual," noted Jean, the technician, running his hand along a corridor wall. "These panels, they're different from standard human manufacturing techniques." Tejo nodded. "Document everything. This could be a significant technological find for our people." They split into pairs to cover more ground. Tejo and Min headed for the bridge while the others investigated engineering and storage areas. The bridge was a marvel of human ingenuity, compact, efficient, but with strange modifications to the navigation systems Tejo couldn't identify. "Captain," Min's voice came through his communicator. "I found something interesting in the ship's log." Before he could respond, an excited voice broke in. "Captain! Captain Tejo!" It was Jean, the junior technician who had been assigned to engineering. "I've found some kind of advanced power core. It's unlike anything I've seen in our database of human technology." "Wait, Jean. Don't touch anything until..." "I'm just running a basic diagnostic scan, Captain." "The interface is surprisingly compatible with our..." Jin's voice cut off as a low hum began to reverberate through the ship. The emergency lights flickered, then brightened. Displays across the bridge suddenly illuminated, filling the room with a blue glow. "Jean? Jean, respond." Tejo called into his communicator. Min's eyes widened. "Captain, power levels are rising dramatically throughout the ship." A metallic sound echoed from the corridor, the unmistakable sound of bulkhead sealing. "Everyone, back to the airlock immediately," Tejo commanded, already moving toward the exit. But as they reached the corridor, a solid metal barrier blocked their path. Similar barriers had dropped at all junctions, sealing them in place. "It's a trap," Min whispered. The ship wasn't abandoned. It was waiting. The ship's speakers crackled to life. A calm, almost melodic human voice spoke in perfect Dalari. "Welcome aboard the HSS Phantom. Please remain where you are. You are not in immediate danger, but attempts to escape or damage this vessel will result in defensive measures. A representative will be with you shortly." Tejo exchanged glances with Min. In all his years of exploration, he had never encountered anything like this. His team was trapped aboard a human warship that had just awakened from its slumber, and he feared they were about to discover why humans rarely ventured into diplomacy with other species. The Phantom wasn't lost or abandoned. It had been waiting. Hunting on the bridge of the Celestial Observer, Second Officer Day monitored communications with growing concern. The boarding team's signals had gone completely silent just moments after Jin's excited discovery in the engineering section. "Try again on all frequencies," Day ordered the communications officer. "Use emergency protocols." The young officer nodded, fingers dancing across her console. "No response, sir." The last telemetry showed all ship systems on the Phantom suddenly powering up. Day tapped his communicator. "Bridge to Captain Tejo. Please respond." Nothing but static answered him. A warning alarm blared across the bridge. The tactical officer looked up sharply from his station. "Sir, the human vessel is powering weapons systems. Defensive protocols. Shields up." Day commanded. "That's not all," the tactical officer continued, his voice tight. "The Phantom is scanning us. Deep penetration scans. They're mapping our entire ship, propulsion, weapons, life support, everything." Day's facial ridges flattened in alarm. This was no derelict ship. Whatever had happened to the boarding party, the Phantom was very much alive and apparently hostile. "Prepare rescue teams. We need to get our people back before." "Sir," interrupted the science officer. "I'm detecting a power surge within the human vessel." Something's happening. Deep within the HSS Phantom, a specialized chamber hummed to life. The curved transparent cover of a stasis pod slid open with a soft hiss, revealing a slender human female. Commander Jisoo inhaled deeply as the revival drugs coursed through her system, clearing the fog of extended stasis. As her eyes adjusted to the dim blue lighting, the ship's AI spoke, "Welcome back, Commander. Revival protocols complete. Bio readings normal. The trap has been successfully sprung." Jisoo sat up slowly, muscle memory taking over as she performed quick stretching exercises to combat the effects of long-term stasis. "Status report," she requested, her voice slightly raspy from disuse. "Alien vessel identified as Dalari Exploration Class. 6 boarding party members contained in sections 3, 5, and 7. Ship's systems fully operational. Tactical analysis of target vessel underway." Jisoo nodded, slipping into her uniform with practiced efficiency. Her short black hair framed a face that appeared deceptively young for someone with her experience. 20 years of military service had left little mark on her features, thanks partly to the time spent in stasis between operations. As she stepped into the corridor, 2 crew members emerged from adjacent stasis chambers, her essential personnel awakening on schedule. Wong, her tactical officer, and Sung, her chief engineer, both snapped to attention. "Prepare for full operational status," Jisoo ordered. "I want our guests comfortable but secure. No unnecessary roughness, but don't take chances." "Yes, Commander," they responded in unison. Jisoo made her way to the bridge, memories flooding back from her mission briefing months earlier. The Phantom was one of Earth's most classified projects, a hunter-killer vessel designed to appear vulnerable while containing some of humanity's most advanced technology. 3 years earlier, humanity had barely survived first contact with the Crete, a technologically superior species that saw other intelligent life as resources to be harvested. The war had nearly destroyed Earth before a desperate final stand pushed the invaders back. The experience had fundamentally changed human military doctrine. Never again would they be technologically outmatched. Thus, the Hunter program was born. Ships like the Phantom were deliberately placed as bait for advanced civilizations, appearing damaged or abandoned. Once boarded, they would capture alien visitors and their vessels, allowing humanity to study and reverse engineer their technology. Jisoo entered the holding area where the Dalari boarding party was contained. Captain Taeho stood tall despite his obvious concern, his large eyes watching her cautiously as she approached. "I apologize for the deception," Jisoo said calmly, speaking through a translator. "I am Commander Jisoo of the Earth Defense Force." "What is the meaning of this?" Taeho demanded. "We approached your vessel with peaceful intentions." Jisoo nodded. "And we have no intention of harming you or your crew. However, we have specific objectives that require your cooperation." She gestured toward a display screen showing the celestial observer surrounded by a targeting grid. "Your ship is currently under our weapons lock. We have no desire for conflict, but we are prepared for it." Min stepped forward. "You set a trap for us." "Why?" "Not for you specifically," Jisoo explained. "For any advanced species with technology we haven't encountered. Humanity is young compared to many galactic civilizations, and we've learned the hard way that technological inequality can be fatal." Jisoo's eyes showed a flash of something the Dalari recognized, not cruelty, but fear. Deep, existential fear. "We need your propulsion technology, your navigation systems, and your communication arrays. In exchange, we can offer medical technology that would benefit your people greatly." Taeho's facial ridges flattened. "You speak of exchange, yet you hold us prisoner." Jisoo nodded, acknowledging the contradiction. "An unfortunate necessity. The last species we encountered openly destroyed 3 human planets before we understood their intentions. We no longer have the luxury of trust." She stepped closer to the force field separating them. "Cooperate with us, and both our ships and crews will part ways safely. I give you my word. Resist, and we will be forced to take what we need by other means." Her words hung in the air between them, not a threat, but a simple statement of what she believed was necessary for her species' survival. The Phantom hadn't been lost in space. It had been hunting, patiently waiting for exactly this moment. The emergency beacon from the Celestial Observer reached Dalari Central Command 16 hours after Captain Taeho's boarding party lost contact. The automated distress signal was brief but alarming: "Unknown hostile vessel. Boarding party captured. Request immediate assistance." High Commander Un stared at the holographic display showing the last known coordinates of the exploration vessel. She was old even by Dalari standards, her facial ridges deeply lined with age and experience. 6 ships, she commanded. "The swift justice will lead. I want our people back." Within hours, the rescue fleet departed from the nearest Dalari outpost, jumping through fold space toward the coordinates. Aboard the Phantom, Commander Jisoo watched the Dalari engineer Min reluctantly examine the ship's propulsion schematics on a secured terminal. "Your fold space technology is remarkable," Jisoo commented. "Much more efficient than our jump drives." Min kept her eyes on the screen. "And yet you've developed weapons we've never conceived of." "Necessity," Jisoo replied simply. She glanced at her tactical display, noting a warning indicator. "Speaking of which." Wong approached quickly. "Commander, long-range sensors have detected multiple fold space signatures heading our way. Dalari vessels, heavily armed." Jisoo nodded, unsurprised. "How long?" 2 hours at their current speed. "Implement Protocol Chameleon," she ordered. "And bring Captain Taeho to the bridge." When Taeho arrived, escorted by armed guards, he found the Phantom transformed. The bridge hummed with activity as panels previously dark now glowed with advanced displays. The ship's exterior was changing. 2 sections that had appeared damaged were retracting to reveal pristine hull plating and weapon ports. "Your rescue fleet approaches," Jisoo told him without preamble. 6 warships, if our sensors are correct. Taeho's expression remained neutral. "Then this charade will end soon." "That depends on you," Jisoo replied. I have no desire for a military engagement. It would cost lives on both sides. Release my crew on our ship, Taeho countered. Simple solution. Jisoo shook her head. Not before we complete our technological exchange. But I'm prepared to negotiate terms under the new circumstances. She gestured to a communications console. You will speak to your fleet commander when they arrive. Explain that we seek peaceful resolution. Taeho studied her face. And if I refuse? Then we deploy countermeasures that will disable your vessels without destroying them, she answered. And this situation becomes much worse for everyone. In his temporary quarters, Taeho gathered his captured crew. Speaking in low tones, he outlined his plan. Jean, you've had the most access to their engineering systems. What have you found? The young technician leaned forward. Their primary weapon systems route through a central power node. If we could overload it. The guards monitor everything we say, warned Nari. Not everything, Jean replied with a slight smile. I've noticed their translator technology struggles with our regional dialect from the southern islands. Taeho nodded. Switching to the complex, tonal dialect of their homeworld's southern hemisphere, he continued outlining their sabotage plan. The Dalari rescue fleet dropped out of fold space in perfect formation around the Phantom and the Celestial Observer. From the bridge of the Swift Justice, Fleet Commander June surveyed the situation. The human vessel has our people aboard, he confirmed. Yes, Commander, his first officer responded. But it's not what we expected. Our scans show advanced weapons systems, unlike anything in our database. June frowned. Open a channel. The view screen activated, showing Commander Jisoo with Captain Taeho standing beside her. This is Fleet Commander June of the Dalari Defense Force. Release our personnel immediately. Jisoo stepped forward. Commander, I am Jisoo of the Earth Defense Force. Your crew boarded our vessel without permission. However, I propose a peaceful resolution. Captain Taeho? Taeho spoke carefully. Commander June, the situation is complex. The humans seek technological exchange. I believe negotiations are possible without bloodshed. June's eyes narrowed. Are you speaking freely, Captain? I am, Taeho replied, then added in the southern dialect, weapons linked to central power. Jean working on access. Need time. June gave a nearly imperceptible nod. We will hold position and discuss terms, he announced. But at the edge of the Dalari formation, the warship Righteous Fury broke formation. Its commander, Quan, had lost family in a previous encounter with an unknown alien species, a trauma that had left him with a deep distrust of all non-Dalari. They're stalling, he growled. Weapons, target their propulsion systems. His first officer looked alarmed. Sir, Commander June ordered. I see our people held hostage by aliens, Quan snapped. Fire. Aboard the Phantom, alarms blared. Incoming fire. Wong shouted. One Dalari vessel launching attack. Jisoo's response was immediate. Defensive systems only. Target their weapons but don't destroy the ship. The Phantom moved with surprising speed for its size. What had appeared to be a derelict vessel now demonstrated the pinnacle of human military technology. A pulse weapon fired, striking the Righteous Fury with precision. On the bridge, Taeho watched with growing concern as Jin's sabotage plan was interrupted by the sudden battle. What had been a tense but controlled situation was now spiraling toward full conflict. Commander Jisoo turned to him, her expression hardened. Your people fired first. This changes everything. Behind her back, Taeho saw Jean slip into an access panel while the crew was distracted by the attack. Their window of opportunity was closing fast, the shuttle from the Vigilant docked with the Phantom with mechanical precision. Admiral Sung stepped through the airlock, his tall frame and silver-streaked hair commanding immediate attention. The bridge crew snapped to attention as Commander Jisoo offered a crisp salute. Report, Admiral Sung said, his voice deep but quiet. Jisoo summarized the situation efficiently, concluding with, "The Dalari have advanced fold space technology that could significantly improve our jump capabilities." Admiral Sung nodded once, then turned his attention to Captain Tae-ho. "I understand you're the commanding officer of the vessel we've inconvenienced." Tae-ho met the human's gaze directly. "That's a diplomatic way to describe capturing my crew and disabling 3 ships in my fleet." A hint of a smile touched the admiral's lips. "I found diplomacy useful, even when backed by superior firepower." He gestured toward the conference room. "Shall we discuss how to move forward?" In the conference room, Admiral Sung wasted no time. "Captain Tae-ho, I'll be direct. Humanity is preparing for a war that will engulf this entire sector. We need your technology." "So I've gathered," Tae-ho replied. "But your methods create enemies where you could have allies." Min stepped forward, displaying the data she had discovered. "Admiral, your records indicate the Crete targeted our homeworld as well. This threat concerns all sentient species." Admiral Sung studied the Dalari engineer thoughtfully. "Most species refuse to believe the threat exists until it's too late." "Then show them proof," Tae-ho countered. "As you've shown us." "And what would you propose instead of our current approach?" the Admiral asked. Tae-ho leaned forward. "A technology exchange. Willing cooperation instead of forced acquisition. Your FTL jump technology for our fold space capabilities. Your weapons systems knowledge for our shield harmonics." The Admiral exchanged glances with Jisoo before responding. "An alliance rather than a hunt." "Exactly," Tae-ho said. "If the Crete are truly coming back with a larger force, no single species will survive alone." Admiral Sung was quiet for a long moment, weighing the proposal against years of human military doctrine focused on self-preservation at all costs. "Your people would agree to this?" he finally asked. "I believe they would," Tae-ho replied, "once they understand what's at stake." 3 days later, the leaders of both fleets gathered in the Vigilance Massive Conference Chamber. Fleet Commander Jun represented the Dalari, while Admiral Sung spoke for humanity. The agreement they drafted was simple in principle but complex in execution: a full technological exchange program between their species, with joint defense initiatives and shared intelligence about the Crete threat. "There will be resistance from some factions of our government," Jun warned as they finalized the terms. "As there will be from ours," Sung acknowledged. "Old fears die hard." When the signing was complete, Admiral Sung offered a rare smile. "Captain Tae-ho, your courage in facing us down has potentially saved many lives, both Dalari and human." Tae-ho inclined his head. "Sometimes the best response to a hunter is not to flee or fight, but to hunt alongside them." As the Dalari delegation prepared to depart, Min approached Commander Jisoo privately. "Your ship," Min said, "it was designed to appear vulnerable, to be found by species like us." Jisoo nodded. "The Phantom and ships like it are our scouts, our technology collectors. We call them ghost ships, appearing dead until they spring their trap." "Effective," Min admitted. "But also terrifying." "That's the point," Jisoo replied simply. "In space, the line between predator and prey can shift in an instant. We learned that lesson in blood." 1 month later, Commander Jisoo stood on the bridge of the Phantom, now restored to its derelict appearance. The joint human-Dalari operation had been remarkably successful, with both species already implementing technological improvements based on their exchange. Her communication console chimed with an encrypted signal from Earth Command. New coordinates appeared on her screen, along with a mission brief: investigate unknown signals in a distant sector, potentially from a previously unencountered species. For a moment, Jisoo hesitated. The old protocols would have her position the Phantom as bait, waiting to trap whatever curious species might investigate. But the new directives explicitly mentioned the Dalari alliance as a template for future encounters. She smiled slightly as she set the new course. The Phantom would still hunt, but now it hunted for allies against a greater threat, not merely for technology to steal. As the ship prepared to jump, Jisoo thought about Captain Tae-ho's words at their parting: "Sometimes to survive as prey, one must learn to hunt like the predators." The Phantom vanished into the darkness of space, still a hunter, but with a new understanding of the hunt. The end.